They warned us. They warned us. You're like, well, what do you mean they warned us? USAID warned us that there was going to be donor fatigue. Donors in general, they said, what are nonprofit organizations going to do to stay resilient? What are they going to do to be able to implement some of the projects that the founder had in his vision and mission, and as the organization evolved to scale, how they were going to meet their vision and mission? So they warned us. So story time. I started a seminar called How to Start and Run an NGO in Nigeria, and I invited a plethora of speakers to come and address my students. I had implementing partners, USAID implementing partners. I had somebody from FCDO, to come. I had even from private philanthropy to actually come and address my students. And they kept saying that organizations needed to be transparent, they needed to be accountable, and they needed to have the right systems in order to receive the large-scale funding that they offer to have large-scale impact. So now that USAID is on pause for 90 days, according to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, what is the plan? Chances are your program is going to be scrapped because they're going to be doing an audit of all USAID programs. Is it programs that strengthen the United States, makes them more powerful? Does it enhance their presence around the world along with their allies? So they're going to be more America first in whatever programs that they're going to implement in your organization. So what are you going to do? In fact, I was a part of a steering committee in a project funded by USAID to empower nonprofit organizations to stay resilient. So these conversations have been happening, not for months, not for days, for years, that we could possibly have a drastic reduction in funding. The funding landscape is going to change. If you're listening to foreign policy around the world, things are happening. The UK is in trouble. The EU is scrambling because they don't have enough gas to sustain themselves and sustain their economy. So the West is scrambling to survive. So now we have to look inward as Africans, or those of us in the global South, to say, how are we going to be able to sustain nonprofits so that they can support